Jim Krenn, No Restrictions, the Pittsburgh Current newspaper, and we're back for another podcast. And we are so excited about this show. Sereny and I are fired up. So last week, Sereny is the greatest at finding guests, the best guests. So she calls me and she texts over actually this character, Weird Paul, an entertainer, Pittsburgh guy too, which I was excited about. And I'm watching his videos on YouTube. And first I'm thinking, well, this could be a joke or whatever. And I'm looking at him. And here, these songs he does are brilliant. And his episodes that he does are brilliant. Some of the best comedy I've seen in a long time. I think it's original. It's unique. It's not afraid of anything. I love that too, taking chances. And I will urge you to check him out. But you're going to see him on this podcast thanks to Sereny, because we invited him, and he was nice enough to come into the studio here, the Pittsburgh Current in newspaper. So we are excited to have him on in a few moments. We also want to thank everyone who attended the 1-year anniversary, the party last week. Some great
2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks, I guess, at this point. Smokey Robinson Wine was one of the participants, and man, it's fantastic. Smokey Robinson, by the way, legendary, and he actually has a house here in Pittsburgh. He's married to a young lady here in Pittsburgh, so it's great to have him. So he's an honorary Pittsburgher.
By marriage.
By marriage. So he lives somewhere in North Hills, and it's my dream to one day be invited to his house to watch a Steeler game with him on a Sunday.
Yep.
Because I just picture he has a rumpus room, whole deal.
What?
A rumpus room.
What is a rumpus room?
That's like
Like a man cave?
Yeah, kind of a basement man. And Smokey would be great to watch. I bet he's a Steeler fan, right?
No, definitely not.
I bet he would be like, go Steelers.
No.
He'd sing it.
No, not a chance.
But he is. I tell you, he has some great wine, right?
Yeah, delicious. We drank it all night.
Yes, we did.
Very tasty, very smooth. You can get it just about anywhere. I think anywhere you can get wine.
Yeah, fantastic. Smokey Robinson wine. Thank you very much, and looking forward to year 2 party. Year 2 is going to be even bigger.
You bet.
Hopefully we can.
Two's always better than one, right?
Maybe we can book, if he'll do it, Weird Paul maybe for next year.
I thought you were going to say Smokey, but
Smokey also. Smokey
Paul would
and
be
Weird
way
Paul.
better.
I want Weird Paul to work with me and doing some stand-up.
Oh, Paul would be way better than Smokey. Sorry, Smokey. Your videos don't make me feel like I'm on drugs, and I like drugs a lot better. So.
And Weird Paul does, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he brings back memories for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Weird Paul and those memories. Jim Krenn, No Restrictions. Back with Jim Krenn, No Restrictions on the Pittsburgh Current Podcast Network. As we're talking about the opening of the show for the first 5 minutes or so, Sereny we're excited, right?
I'm so excited.
Very excited about our next guest. Weird Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Paul, I got to tell you, love the stuff. Very original.
Thank you.
Very unique. How did you start this, man? I mean, for those who don't know, he does these videos on YouTube, and these things I'm talking 50,000 views.
Yeah, a lot.
Right? There's 30,000, 100,000 views. The numbers are huge, but I'm sorry, how did you start?
Well, I've been doing this a long time. My parents bought a video camera in 1984, and not a lot of families had video cameras yet back then. It was still a pretty new thing, but my dad was always in the new tech, He
Right.
got an 8-track player when those came out. He got a cassette player when those came out, so... it was just, he got a VCR when that came out. So it was always going to get the next thing. Mm-hmm. But he didn't want me to touch the camera. He was always like, I said, keep your hands off of that. You're going to break it. Because he knew I was going to probably break it. But I didn't care. I had already had all these grandiose ideas that I was going to make all these films and all these videos. And I couldn't wait because I had a feeling he was going to get it. And so, he brought it home and I'm like already messing with it and he's yelling at me. The next morning I just grabbed it. I said, I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want. And the first thing I remember filming, I picked it up, was somebody had gone to the bathroom and I there was a bowel movement. I filmed that.
No way.
Yeah, and my dad found out I was playing it back or something, and he saw it, and he took the camera away. He's like, and he erased it. He taped over it.
Oh.
And he's like, we don't use the camera for that. And he took it away. And he said I couldn't use it for a month, but I had it back in 3 hours. I was such a sweet talker, man. I could get anything taken care of immediately.
It's funny because that's like it's an Andy Warhol kind of thing, film in the bathroom thing. It's like
It is.
And watching back, as early as 1985, there's a video where I make a reference to Andy Warhol. I was doing some kind of weird, like, wide angle thing, and then I was just like going in and out with the focus really fast. And I said, this looks kind of like an Andy Warhol movie. So I knew what I was doing.
Yes.
You know.
You could see the influence, the kind of the Warholian style, or
Yeah.
you were trying to be a little offbeat, obviously.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's what I liked.
You're an outlier, right? Not the norm. In other words,
Not the norm.
Yeah, his
At
name's
all.
Weird Paul.
and I love that. I know, right? And that's what I love about you, because with comedy, when you take chances like that, it's scary, but you seem fearless with it, and I like that.
It's all what you're inspired by yourself, and you say, that's what I think is interesting, or that's what I think is funny, and that's what you want to do. And I loved Steve Martin. That was one of the first comedians that I loved, and David Letterman after that.
Right.
And those are guys that do that. They really try things that they could totally bomb, and
You're right.
nobody would think was funny. And so that's what I wanted to do. I want to do that kind of stuff, sort of slightly surreal. Maybe it's not going to be funny, but
Maybe
take
it's a home
the
run.
chance. But I kept making videos for a while until YouTube came along. I hadn't really been making any right around then. I was really heavily working on my music at that time, and I hadn't done any videos in a while. But once I got onto YouTube and I started uploading all my old videos to YouTube, then I realized, oh, there really is an audience here for the stuff that I could create now.
Right.
I should get back into doing this really heavily, and this is these are the people that I need to be
Right.
getting
the
in touch
audience.
with here.
I'm your audience, really, in a way that you hit the retro stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
At my age, and some of the stuff, you're so young, Sereny, but you probably pick up on some of the stuff, or a lot of the stuff. But
I recognize
it
some
just
references, yes.
But it hits home like you didn't. And by the way, I could see the Steve Martin with the songs in a way. If I go back to King Tut, but even beyond that, the humor.
Yes.
Style is a big Martin fan, but the retro stuff, like you do this one thing where you go into your mom's basement and you got labels.
Right.
And I asked you off the air, not to bring it on, I said, I thought he went to flea markets and got them for a skit. For this, 'cause it's funny. You had a lot of different labels. And then
Yeah.
you could say you went in your mom's basement, but you actually went into your mom's basement.
That's right. She still had those. She was actually getting to get rid of them. She had saved them because when I was a kid, we'd send in vegetable can labels and stuff, and you get a wagon. I mean, you
Yeah.
get some nice prizes. They don't really do that kind of stuff
No,
anymore. But
Marble Miles kind of ruined that for
yeah,
everyone.
the last thing I remember was Kool-Aid. You could send in Kool-Aid points for the cans, and you got
Yeah, I
all
remember
kinds
that.
of great stuff. A Walkman, all kinds of great stuff. But they don't do that anymore, really. But my mom still had all the labels. That was the great thing. And she was like, I don't need these anymore. I'm cleaning up. I'm gonna get rid of them. And I said, just hold up a moment here, Mom.
We got gold here.
And I sat down for like 2 hours, and I went through the entire pile of labels. I said, because that you see a tube of Crest, I'm like, okay, well, they still make that, not a big
Right.
deal. But when you see
Chicken hoagies.
chicken hoagies, exactly, then
You're
you
hitting
stop
home runs.
for a second.
Like, what were they thinking?
You stop for a
Well,
second.
the funny thing about that was that there were like two companies
Mm-hmm.
that made this food that I remember my grandmother making for me. I had some frozen foods, chicken sticks.
Chicken sticks?
It was just molded chicken, I guess,
Oh.
some breading.
Weaver and Tyson.
There you go.
probably.
Yeah.
Two
Of
companies.
course
That's how
he knows that.
popular
Yeah.
they were.
We ate a lot of that.
Yes, that must have been a food for kids.
We
then
ate a
or
lot
something.
of prepackaged
Yeah,
stuff.
I grew up on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old chicken sticks. But yeah, it's really amazing. That's what was funny about the labels, man. Some of the foods, I couldn't believe this shit was real. It's like,
Yep.
like we ate this stuff. But all right, it's great.
The names of some of that stuff is
Oh
crazy.
God, it was killer.
They
And
thought
probab-
that
Yeah. And
consumers are going to react to this. This is a good name.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
chicken sticks
It's
or chicken
funny 'cause
hoagie.
The way people eat now and take food so seriously now. And,
Right.
Oh God, yeah.
with like the whole foods and the vegans and the processed meats and cheeses. Like to see that is just funny because back then in the 80s, people would eat anything.
Give us
Chicken
some
sticks.
additives, man. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know what to do with organic back
I never
then,
heard
right?
the word organic until I was probably 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We grew up on all the whatever
The
that
good
is,
stuff.
the chemical food.
Exactly. Factory stuff.
Yes.
Chemicals. Processed. All, yeah.
So you do that, but some of your shows that, but a lot of the things we see are the music. Where no, the Weird Paul, I don't see the similarity. Weird Al is where Weird Paul. Yours are original tunes more though. You're
Yeah,
not- like Weird
well-
Al does parody, but yours are original.
I started out when I first got into music. Weird Al was one of the first things that I really gravitated towards because I loved comedy.
And he's
And-
he's brilliant.
Yeah, and so I just my nature at the time was I'm going to imitate whatever it is that I like, and
Right.
that's how I'm going to create my art until I get to the point where I have my own style.
Okay.
And so I loved Weird Al, and the kids in school were calling me Weird Paul because I was the biggest Weird Al fan there was. So I started doing what Weird Al was doing. I just took the songs, the hit songs of the day.
Right.
I played them on one tape recorder. I would set up a second tape recorder in the bathroom and press record, and then I would just sing the new lyrics that I wrote over top of them. I'd make an
So
album.
you did a parody.
Yeah, and I would make
It's
whole
a
albums like
mixtape,
that.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a mixtape. And so I did that for a while. And then, eventually I got a guitar. I started writing my own songs. And, I mean, Weird Al writes his own songs, too. They just aren't as popular as his parodies, which is
Right.
understandable. But I just got out of doing the parody stuff. I still do it now and then. But I'd rather come up with something original that's funny. It's a lot more fulfilling.
It's definitely.
So-
Am I right on this? It's definitely a rock kind of vibe to me. Like an arena rock. You must have been an arena rock kid or something. My like Deep
yeah.
Purple days and my
Yeah.
days were because like peanut butter or
Heavy
whatever.
metal.
Yeah, heavy metal. There's a metal,
Yep.
I loved heavy
right?
metal.
There's a metal arena,
I hear like
Absolutely.
hairband kind
some
of.
hairband mixed in
yeah.
there, right?
But there's like there's a little bit of hip hop in some of the songs.
Well, I mean, I have all the influences. I like all kinds of music. So everything just kind of mixes around in my head. I have like a kind of an audible memory. Some people have visual memories where they can see things
Right.
that they saw in the past really well. I hear things. Like I could hear the entire song Barracuda by Heart in my head. Every note, every instrument.
Yeah.
I could just listen to it all in my head. So, I have all these songs shifting around in there all day, and
Right.
part of one song might meld into another song for me, and then suddenly it's a new song that I could just say I wrote because nobody's going to know that those two
Right.
parts were together.
Right.
Nobody would ever be able to understand that. I
Yes.
only heard it in my head. So
Yeah.
suddenly I have a song that I made by putting two other songs together. That's how I write a lot of the stuff I write. And,
Where would you come up with like pot of macaroni or something?
that came to me in a dream.
Okay.
I was dreaming. I had a dream that I was in a courtroom and my keyboard player, Ben Blanchard, was on trial.
Okay.
And the judge called a recess and everybody left the courtroom. And
awesome.
in walked this big band with all these horns and everything, this huge band, and they started playing Pot of Macaroni, and they were singing Pot of Macaroni. And that's how, and I woke up and I wrote the rest of the song.
That's amazing.
I normally hate when people tell me their dreams, but I really enjoyed that.
That's impressive, right?
I had like almost a whole album where every song came to
Was
me
a
in a
dream.
dream.
I really like that.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean,
Most people's dreams are like annoying to hear, but you made an album and a career out of it.
Well, that's the funny thing too. Did you think, Paul, when you started this, did you think you would get 30,000 people watching your songs, or 100,000, or 85,000? The numbers are rather amazing.
Well,
when you think
I mean-
about it. Did you think you'd have that kind of following?
I always had some kind of delusions of grandeur, I always
But
like
surprised from that number?
people will want to hear this. People are going to like this.
Right.
I always thought that,
And they do. It's
but the
fun.
thing is, I go through the manic phase and the depressive phase. I'll be like, I'm
entertainer,
the
man.
king, man. I'm the best. And then an hour later, I'm like, this is terrible. I don't know what. Nobody's going to listen to this.
That's right. It's
you know?
entertainment, man.
So,
That's our
right.
lives.
And so I don't know. I definitely have all along been waiting for there to be the audience for what I'm doing. It's just I had so many screw ups and not doing things right. And finally, I've gotten to the point where I'm a little more professional about it now, and I'm like,
No, Sereny, as I said, turned me on to you and everything on YouTube. But how long have you been this popular? Is this a new phenomenon where you've been getting 30,000, 50,000 views? Is that new or within a year, 2 years? What would you say
Well-
the time from when you started getting these kind of big numbers? Because those are significant numbers.
On YouTube. Well, I mean, I had my first sort of brush with fame was in 1991.
Okay.
And that was when I got signed to this independent record company, Homestead Records.
Okay.
And they put out albums by Sonic Youth and some pretty notable bands. Now they're, you could say they're notable. Daniel Johnston, a lot of people that now are like cult musicians. So that was kind of a big deal. I mean, that was everywhere. It was worldwide. That it was in stores everywhere.
What
and
kind
so,
of music were you doing? Were you doing exactly this? Like peanut butter, potter, macaroni? Was it that
Basically,
kind of stuff?
It was very similar. I mean, it was a little more minimalistic. In
Okay.
other words, not that what I do now isn't minimalistic. It is. This was even more minimalistic. It was what they called lo-fi. It was just guitar, bass, drums, vocals, but it wasn't like we didn't try to let's put a harmony vocal in here, or maybe we need another lead in here. It was just like 4 tracks. And that was it. And here it is. It's music. Because I always said that when I was a kid. I said, I could record these songs, put them on a tape, and sell them, and it's just like what U2's doing. It's just like Bruce Springsteen's doing. It's no different. I'm just like them. It's out there. People can listen to it. People can buy it.
It's true.
That's how I felt about it. I still feel like anybody right now that's more famous than I am is still my contemporary. If they're the same age as me, they're still my contemporary. It doesn't matter if they're more well-known than me.
That's true.
That's how I feel about it.
That's absolutely true. Sereny, how did you find him first?
I saw him at, is it IDESCon?
Yes.
Yeah. I was working with a band, and I was like cleaning up their equipment after they were done performing.
Right.
And Paul was starting his set as I was leaving, and I heard him, and I was like, I dropped the drum kit,
So
and
who
I
is
just
this
sat
guy?
and waited around and listened, and I think I took a picture, and then followed him right away on Instagram and all social media, and that was, I think, in 2013.
Okay.
That was an interesting show for me
Yeah.
because I had just started really getting into the YouTube stuff.
Okay.
And so I said, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to try to meld what I'm doing on YouTube with what I'm doing
live. Yeah.
live. I'm going to try to do like a live vlogging experience.
Okay.
So I came into IDES with all of these IDES-related stories that I had from when I was younger. And I would do a song, and I would explain how the song related to my life and show what I had that related to that. So it was like making a YouTube video, but doing it live
Okay.
to the, speaking to the audience and telling them, and then I would do the song. So because I had all my IDES receipts from the late 80s, early 90s, all the records I had bought,
That's
and I
awesome.
would hold them up and show them. And then my friend and I had written a song, probably around 1990, about how we wanted this Misfits bootleg at IDES, but it was too expensive to buy. And I did that song and I explained how we couldn't afford it and everything.
Right.
But the song actually mentions IDES in it. It's about IDES, so it was perfect. I was like, this is great. I'm playing at IDES and I have the song about IDES. So I would stand there and tell the story for a couple minutes and then do the song. So that was something I hadn't done before. That was the first time I did that.
Are you
Yeah,
finding?
sure.
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, it was incredible to watch. It was unforgettable.
Well,
No one else was doing that.
do you
now,
know-
now everyone's doing
Right,
it. I
right.
still don't think anyone's doing it.
I do have to ask you about your family, though. You guys hold on to receipts and like tickets and
Yeah,
coupons
it's
a
a
lot.
good hoarding thing. Hoarding is
true.
good. Hoarding is good.
Hoarding is good. Good TV.
I mean, the difference between archiving and hoarding to me is here's the
Fine line.
difference. If you're keeping everything that you keep, like for instance, I'm not keeping every package from everything I eat now.
I'm kind of a hoarder. I'm a class 2 hoarder.
I
It's
quit
class 4
doing that.
classes.
I mean,
I'm a 2.
Now, if I find something old, I'm going to save it.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky I have all that stuff from before.
You
You're not
really
going to
are.
get that
You're lucky
now.
moms didn't throw everything away. Too.
But-
It's like good things.
It comes down to, especially when you get to be a certain age or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is this important to keep? Is there any reason to keep it? Is it collectible?
Right.
Is it important to the future of mankind? All right? That's where you have to
chicken
draw the
sticks.
line. Anything else, you throw it in the garbage.
Oh my God.
That's what you keep.
I throw everything away.
Well,
So,
I don't keep
would
anything.
you honor us, honor the audience with maybe a song? You brought the computer to sing along. If that's okay. We'd
I'd love to do a
love
song.
it.
I have a new album out. And,
Oh, that's cool. Where
so-
can we get it? iTunes or
It's
solo?
not on iTunes yet,
Okay.
but it will be soon.
Sure.
Right now, it's just on my Bandcamp page, and the CD's on my website. But I will have it everywhere else, literally everywhere else, very soon.
Could you give it? So you're gonna sing one of the songs from the album then? Or
Sure. Yep.
Love to, please.
Thank you.
Here's Weird
The
Al.
album's called Lit AF.
Nice.
Okay. I woke up this morning feeling great. I went to bed early, I slept in late. The birds were singing a beautiful song. The sun was shining, nothing was wrong. I looked in the mirror, I liked what I saw. This day was perfect, without any flaw. I skipped down the stairs so happily. I knew that breakfast was waiting for me. There on the table, what I saw was awful. Uncooked eggs laying on top of waffle. Woke up this morning to a real shitty breakfast. Woke up this morning with Hello Kitty necklace. Hello Kitty necklace. Hello Kitty necklace. Yo! Hello! I got in my whip, as I sometimes will do. It's 11 years old, but the hubcaps are new. I started it up. It sounded superb. I pulled on the street, away from the curb. Every stop sign, I break that completely. Hand over hand, I did turn so neatly. I saw a red light, it was in my rear view. It was a cop. Now what did I do? Was I under arrest? Was he going to yell? No, all that he said was, "You drive so well." Driving down the street, and I'm not driving reckless. Driving down the street with Hello Kitty necklace. Hello Kitty necklace. Hello Kitty necklace. Rage! I got a really big team, and we all need a really big Hello Kitty necklace.
That's awesome. Weird Paul. Oh,
I forgot
Paul.
Charlie.
Thank
was
you. We
back
shot the music video for that yesterday, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty excited about this.
I'm excited. That was great.
Million
man.
views we're going to get on this.
I think so.
don't doubt
I've
it.
never gotten more than 100,000 views on anything, so
That's a lot.
I'm
dude.
not.
God, you're averaging
It's
like.
a lot, but it's. I look at what other people are getting, and I'm like, oh.
All right, looking at this.
If
Like
I
the
could
makeup
just
tutorials.
get 500,000, but you always want more. You always want more.
This is
than
true
what you have.
because look at this way. You're 32,001. I was looking at. That's basically you're singing to PNC Park sold out.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
I'll tell you how to get that million, Paul. Do a makeup tutorial.
I thought about it. There were times when it was on the list. I mean, I've done a lot of videos where people said, make this, it'll be popular. And some of them were and some of them weren't. I mean, I got 100,000 views, so the video I have the most views on is how I do my hair.
Really?
Yep.
I was going to ask you how you do your hair.
And that's where I have the most views.
Is it a song or you just
No, it's
talk
just,
about
I
how-
actually show how I do it.
Could you give
step
us
by
a
step.
quick? You don't have to do the whole thing. But can you give me? Is there a way you can give me a little highlight? Is there
Pretty much. I wash it, and it doesn't take long to wash because
Okay.
it's very thin.
Right.
It doesn't take long at all. It takes just minutes.
Okay.
I shampoo it, rinse it out, and then I have to wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Wait. Okay.
Because if I don't wait 5 minutes, it's too wet and it won't dry properly.
Oh.
If I wait more than 5 minutes, it all starts to clump together and sticks together,
Really?
and then it's awful. Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. 5 minutes I wait. And then I blow dry it for 5 minutes, and I have to lift it. I lift the sides up on both sides,
Yes.
and I shape it down like this. Because my hair didn't used to look this exact like this in this shape. I had to train it for years. But if you I just lift it up, get everything underneath,
very
shape it back
it's
down,
very
5
Beatle-
minutes, and it's done. So it's basically a 10 minute,
Process.
12 minute maybe.
Guys,
it's
women
done.
spend much more time on their
And
hair.
it's perfect.
It's
every
perfect. It looks like a
time.
weeping willow. I love it.
It's a very Beatlesque. I was going to say, right?
Thank you. I based it on the Ramones haircut.
Okay.
And of course they based theirs on the Beatles.
Yes,
so.
because you could right. You can see the Beatles.
I
You know, a
see
couple of their albums, and you can see that that look. It's cool. And have you had that hairstyle since you were a kid? Like if I went back to your high school.
Basically, I
can
mean,
see
most
it in
people
some
say
of the
that. They say I admire you so much for having the same haircut for 35 years. You know, I mean, it wasn't exactly like this, but pretty
Right.
close.
Pretty
Pretty
close.
close.
Pretty close. And in the How I Do My Hair video, I go over all the times in my life that my hair was different because a girlfriend or my wife had said, no, I want you to cut it like this, change it like that. Of course, eventually I got to the point where I said, nobody's going to tell me how to do this. And now my girlfriend never loves it like this.
You
so.
beat to your own drum.
Yeah.
You walk. You know, one of the most brilliant pieces that I saw that you did, I thought was genius, actually, comedic genius, was you used with video talk to your, was it your 14-year-old self or something, or
Yes.
it was back. You goes back to 1985 and talks to yourself as like 14 years old. So how'd you come up with that? It's a brilliant idea. And how did you find the footage first and come up with the idea later? That's pretty amazing.
I was just going through all the hours and hours, like 130 hours of tape I have from when I was a kid. And I stumbled upon this footage of me talking into a telephone. And what I was doing was I was having a conversation with somebody imaginary who was on the other side. I wasn't actually having a conversation.
So it was a video.
It was
going
one side.
something.
Yeah, I was just making
movie
content.
or whatever, yeah.
Exactly. And while that wasn't that interesting, I said, wait a second. I could edit that dialogue. I could write a script where I can talk to him what he's saying. I have to figure out how to talk around what this kid's saying.
Right.
This kid, it's me.
It's you.
Yeah.
So that I can have a conversation with myself and make it funny.
Yeah, it
It was funny.
It took a little time to figure it all out.
I could imagine.
But
brilliant.
That is, out of everything I've made, I'm the most proud of that video. I think it's amazing.
Comedically, I thought this is just brilliant. Talking to your 14-year-old self.
Yeah.
Comedic
There
genius
can't be
stuff.
many people out there that have a video of themselves talking on a phone.
It's not like a skit where you have some kid doing it. It's you.
Not going to find anyone else making a video like that.
It's amazing.
Not even in Hollywood, they have to use actors.
It's true. It's not, find that footage of yourself.
Yeah.
You
And
had
I
a
always
lot of
make the
footage.
point that there's a cutoff period where, I filmed Old Hills Department Store or whatever. There's a cutoff period where that's not common. There's a point, how many years back can you go from right now and you can still say very common that people were filming a store or the road or cars going by or themselves talking on a phone, not a cell phone though. So you can only go back so far and then it gets rarer and rarer and rarer.
Yes.
So I feel privileged to have that footage because that's from the rare end of the spectrum.
Absolutely, man. Brought back memories for me too. As I said as a kid, is there? I don't want to put you on a spot. You don't have to, or I know not prepared. I'd love to hear another song. I don't know if you could do another one on the computer.
I can.
I'd be honored if you could. I don't want to put you on a spot if you,
No,
you know,
I can. Let me decide
whatever you'd want.
What would be a good song to do. I don't want to sit here and do all rap songs though. Either, so they're funny though.
Whatever you choose will be fine. I don't care. Yeah, your call. Yeah, I like how the songs are kind of. They start like Shitty Breakfast was kind of like a serious kind of.
Yeah.
You know. Vibe. I didn't know where you were going with it.
It was awful.
It was great. It must have been, right?
That breakfast was terrible. Uncooked eggs laying on top of waffles.
It's disgusting.
And it looks. You were just. The funny thing was you were so serious.
Well, I was trying to think, what is the worst breakfast you could have? I was trying to think one day, and I was like, wait, you know what it would be? It would be uncooked eggs on a waffle. If I came downstairs and saw that on a plate, I would be throwing shit.
Well, what else rhymes with Hello Kitty necklace, though?
Yeah,
that's the thing. I think shitty breakfast. They got to think of what it would be. The worst one.
I was wondering where
Too
you're
many
going with
things
that.
rhyme with kitty necklace.
Now, is this one from the album or is it an older?
It's an older one.
Great. All right, let's see.
I
little
think
both.
this is the one to do, though.
Okay,
I think
excellent.
You'll like it.
Please, thank you.
Yo, I need bus fare. Any change to spare? Someone must share. If I'm to get there, I'll concede I have less than I need, so I'll proceed to plead with the speed of a steed. Of how much coinage am I deficient? Don't know. My calculations are insufficient. Alas, when I should have been in math class, I was too busy counting out blast beats on bath mats. There's my friend, hanging with his shorty, but she's tall and foreign and looks like she's 40. I think he said that she comes from bulimia. Huh, where's that? Near low self-esteemia? I think he has some change I can borrow. I'll say, yeah, I'll pay you back tomorrow. Oh, damn, they're running away. I guess I need to repay the money he loaned me the other day. Hasn't anybody got my back? No one gives me jack except for some flack. I bet I could score at this grocery store. I'll have more rapport with peeps who aren't poor. I was gonna ask this dude, but he must have needed food. He yelled as he passed, running real fast.
Where's the soy sauce? I'm the LaCroix boss.
Should I try this guy, who looks like Michael Stipes? Ah, cripes. He's buying baby wipes and adult dipes. Oh, must be one of those types who has trouble with his pipes. Ah, here's a guy who looks like Vladimir Putin. He's eating a big gluten-free Fig Newton. He coughed and said,
Got any Ludens? Those drops sure make me light up like lumens.
no, sir, with all due props, I ain't got any drops to help your cough stop. Now that I got this guy at close range, it won't be so strange to ask him for change. Yes! I didn't guess he'd acquiesce. It was hard to assess, but nevertheless. I don't know why I have to rely on some nice guy to try and get by. I can barely feed myself. Yo, I nearly peed myself. That's why they call me the Whiz Kid, 'cause I gotta take a whiz, kid. I gotta find a public restroom, one that hasn't assumed the fume of Uncle Fester's tomb. I'll squeeze through these trees and enter Mickey D's, where full bladder trustees take free peas without catching disease. Whew! I drain my main vein and now to begin the campaign and not be detained on my way to the bus lane. All of a suddenly, I see this in front of me. This driver must be blind or just a trainee. You're early. It's 2:45. He's leaving without me.
Now what? Why you hating? Why you hating?
Oh man, tremendous!
You got
Tremendous.
bars,
I
man.
like it.
I don't do all
bars.
rap songs, but those are funny, you know?
Those are
It's
great.
funny because you can put more lyrics into them.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, they're rough. They're tough to sing. It's not easy to sing those songs.
That's
the
true.
lyrics got to move quick and.
Memorizing them, it's a lot of work.
I was gonna
but
say-
it's like memorizing a Shakespeare sonnet or whatever. You
Right.
just have to memorize all the words.
Yes, and you wrote it. Now, when you perform live with the following you have on YouTube, are you starting to get big crowds for you, or are you starting to get a nice following live?
I mean, it's
starting to come
still
out.
pretty hit and miss. It's really pretty hit and miss. The only thing is that I did notice is I just put some feelers out. I said, if I was to do a tour,
Right.
where would you like to see me? And the response was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, good.
So-
I'm not surprised.
I'm going to try to get out on the road, but the good thing about that is it's a new audience, you know?
Yes.
You can play to the same people in Pittsburgh, and every once in a while somebody new comes out and says, oh, I just found out about you, and it's great, and they're excited. But you got to find a new audience.
Right,
So
absolutely. Always trying to find. I'd love if you'd work with me sometime.
That would be amazing.
Wow.
I'd love it. It'd be great. I think people would love it. You know, I think more. I mean, a lot of people are finding you, but I
was listening to you as a teenager. So,
Oh, thank you, man.
It would be amazing.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that, man. I really do. I mean, the humor. Did you want to get in more in a stand up, or did you always want to, like Steve Martin was somebody you said that inspired you? Was stand up the route you wanted to maybe take?
The thing
or?
is, I was always very, very shy.
Okay.
And part of that was just I was small, thin, scrawny, picked last for the team, the last guy on the dodgeball,
Okay.
hiding from the like 5 other guys who still were on the other side. You know,
Yeah.
I had a really tough time, and that didn't help
Sure.
either. So it was very hard for me. I was very nervous, shaking. I was hard to get out. So once I got the guitar, I realized I could kind of hide behind this and get up there, and then I can sing this stuff, and it's still funny.
Yes.
But it took me a long time. You know, I finally talked to somebody, and they said, you know, confidence is what people will pay to see, because not everybody has that.
What
And they
a
want to
great
see
line.
that. And I said, you're right. And from that day on, you fake it until you make it. So I just went out and pretended, and I still do a lot of the time. I'm out there trying to pretend that I'm confident, my hand's shaking like this when I'm up on stage. But it doesn't matter. As long as you present it, that you know what you're doing, you're going to do it well. You're doing it well.
Well, that's a
So
great line.
I have done stand up a couple times, but I'm not as good at writing jokes as I am at writing funny songs. I'm still better
It's the
at
same
that.
thing. It's just coming out a different way. That's all. It's the same thing. Same, you know. to
Yeah.
me. It's
But I find that when I do songs at like Arcade Comedy Theater or something like that, the audience isn't quite tuned in to being ready to hear music.
No, you're right.
They're still ready for
Comedy.
comedians, and
Yeah.
they don't.
joke setup, whatever.
They're having trouble. They have a lot of trouble making the adaptation to.
It's a unique thing. You have to just kind of you know, Pee Wee Herman, comedians like that you gotta just zone into it, kind of. You know, you gotta kind of get into how.
That's a character. That's
That's character,
characterization.
but the style of humor though
I see what you're
is a daring style. that
Yeah.
there's an innocence to what he's doing, but it's also brilliance to what he does in a sense. With
Absolutely.
with the dare. I would say the daring part of it. That's what I'm talking about yours.
And now he's going to appear at like Steel City Con or something.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate goal. When I'm an old man, I just
make
want
that-
I just want to be at all the conventions. So
Have you ever been to like? Did you ever go to like a Comic-Con convention? You ever
Yeah.
I went to one, the first one, like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Have you
they're
been to
great.
them?
Oh yeah, they're fun.
You know what I'm amazed about at them is like they had a row of like old Playboy Playmates.
Yeah.
We were like, you know, like,
Old
from,
ones.
like 1975, and they're
Wow.
like, hello, and a cigarette, come here, take a picture with me.
wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. It was
Yeah,
like,
but like guys will show up. They're like, "Oh my god, I jerked off to you," and
Yes,
like, "I have
cool.
to get your
they're-
autograph."
they were doing it. They were
Yeah,
getting
I know.
collection.
I know they're making
They're
a
like,
killing. They're
yeah.
charging $500 for an autograph, $20 for a picture.
I was 1979, playing it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I think like the humor, what you're doing, like I said, when you're singing about peanut butter or shitty breakfast, it's almost like storytelling in a way. Storytelling is where you go a long time, then you have to hit a punchline. A punchline better nail. So
Yes.
I was trying to figure out where you're going, and you hit the shitty breakfast punchline. And so
Right.
that's kind of what it is.
Well,
You're basically putting stories
It's
telling to it.
It's a
music.
twist ending is how I always go about it.
The surprise punch, yeah.
They're not expecting it to go to there.
Right.
That's where they're not expecting it to go, and that's where I like to take it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
And that's
comedy.
when it's comedy. That's when you get the serious tone, which makes it even funnier.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
got
the
the whole.
twist.
See, now I've already figured out. Nowadays when I'm writing music, I already have in mind what are you doing when you do it live, because I'm up there. It's just me and the microphone,
Right.
and I better not just be standing there singing. You know.
You got to kind of
I
set it up a
lot
little.
of times I have an outfit I wear. Or,
Oh, really?
Or props.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, to go
And
for the
so,
look.
Yeah, and you believe I'm going to be wearing that Hello Kitty necklace when I
Yep.
do that song. So.
Okay, so when you do the outfit, is it a bit of a character you're doing up there, or is it more just you animated 10 times? Because my act is just me animated 10 times. A bit,
Well, I mean,
basically-
a lot of these songs I write from the perspective of a specific person. It's
Okay.
not me. So then
I
I
see.
am portraying a character.
Okay.
But yeah, if I get up on stage, if I'm just doing jokes or something, it's definitely me amplified. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
10 times. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And some of the songs are more coming from a presentation of a character you're saying. So when
Yeah.
you're writing them, or singing them
Definitely.
too.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of the times, I do love peanut butter. I have a song called
Right.
Peanut Butter
there's
Recall.
probably a lineage of truth to everything.
But,
I'm sure you
you
had a shitty breakfast or whatever.
But not everything I write about has specifically happened to me. Like, I never got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, for instance. I get asked that all the time. Did you ever get drunk at Chuck E. Cheese?
Is this a song?
I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese. It's one of my more popular
Is there
songs.
any way we can get you to sing it? Was it there?
Jim.
I'm killing you. I'm killing you. I'm loving it, though. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope. Wait a second.
Thanks, Paul.
Wait a second.
No, you don't have to. If you, it's okay.
Should be in here.
All right. I mean, since
That's like if somebody walks up to you and you're like, "Oh, you're a comic. Tell me a joke."
I do get it, and I tell
I
them.
know you do. I
Absolutely.
Tell him to fuck off. I know he's too nice. He's easy to trick. He's just dumb and easy
You're
to
right.
trick.
Ready?
You got it. Yeah. Well, this is it. This is a popular song, and
I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was asked to leave. Well, I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, several of their bland Chablis. I just wanted to know how their wine would taste, but I ended up so very faced. I guess you could say that I got trashed, but you also could say that I got smashed. Chuck E. Cheese is a talking mouse, and that kinda makes sense if you are soused. All I wanted was to cut loose, but I ended up totally juiced. I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese on several of their bland Chablis. Well, I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was asked to leave. I wish I could have helped Nicole when her mom got lost, but I wasn't worth a damn, 'cause I got tossed. I sat down right in front of my plate, and I was so messed up that my pizza tasted great. I thought of Scott Zodiac when I was wasted. I saw the puppet's mustache so badly pasted. I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, several of their bland Chablis. Well, I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was asked to leave. Well, then I got up on the stage, I was pretty tipsy. People started throwing tokens, but most of them missed me. You don't know what it's like unless you are plastered. When a 6-foot mouse calls you a bastard, he might not have hit me if he hadn't been goated. But that's just how I am when I get loaded. It's no surprise that I got booted, cause my brain was so shably polluted. I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese on several of their bland chablis. Yeah, I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was asked to leave.
Man,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, Paul. That's
But I never did. But that's one where I'm just thinking, what
Yes,
would have
yes,
happened?
right.
I just brainstormed it all. It was a little daydream. What would have happened if I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese? And of course, now it's happened. You see it in
Now
the news
they
all the
serve
time.
wine?
That's right.
People are using their camera phones to film the fights.
And I got to tell you,
So-
I could see myself driving around for the next few days singing that song. Your songs are
That's
catchy.
good.
It is very
I get
catchy.
that comment all the time. This is stuck in my head now, and I always
Yep.
write the same thing.
I'm telling
That's
you.
good.
That's right, because later on I'll be humming to myself. I'm drunk at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, the
Why you
peanut
got-
butter song, I was singing it last night.
That's good.
It is good.
Yeah, they're both. Is mom still alive? Mom's
Yes.
still with us? What does mom think of you as your performer? Because my mom Lou, she has no idea. I bring money home. She thinks I'm a drug dealer. You know,
Yeah.
she has no idea.
Well, I told you.
Yeah, of course. What does your mom think of your comedy?
My parents
does
are.
she get it? Does
They're
does
always
Dad love
supportive. I mean, you know.
it? Did he get it?
Yeah, I mean, they know where I'm coming from, and
Right.
I gave my mom my new CD the other day, and then she called me and she said that she really liked it. So
okay.
I believe that she's not just saying that.
No.
It's not. But you know, when I was 14, 15, I'd be just playing my guitar in the living room, and my mom would sit there and listen to me. I'd sing my songs in front of her, and she'd listen to me. So she's always been my best audience, you know.
That's cool.
And
man.
I appreciate
That's
that.
really cool, actually. And yeah, you got a nice voice. They sing voice. Do you? I know we're doing comedy songs. Was there a time in your life where you wanted to do like serious music? Like,
Sing "Kissed by a Rose."
or whatever. Have you done that?
I- you
Is there a
know,
video with him?
I-
No.
I've written a lot of, there's periods in my life where I've gone through some pretty bad depression and stuff like
Okay.
that, and I've written some pretty deep, dark songs, and I don't really do those live because people don't come to
Right.
get down, man. They want to have a good time. They want to get a party going, and
An
so I
introspective
do that.
type
Now, when I
stuff.
go to karaoke, man, I can really let my voice shine.
Yeah.
I hit some good notes. I'll tell you that.
Because you could sing. You're really sing.
It's gotten better, and I only got that way. I haven't taken lessons or done any exercise or anything. It's from singing along to records and singing along to the radio. I just learned to mimic. I've learned to mimic the other singers' voices.
Okay.
So if I hear them hit a note, I mean, I could do some pretty good Freddie Mercury notes only because
Like
I
a-
mimic
you're a
his
parrot.
voice.
Yeah,
I've
you're-
mimicked it.
Like a parrot.
Yep, exactly, like a parrot would do.
So, what's your go-to karaoke song?
I like to do. There's a couple that I'll do. "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen is one.
I could see. Yeah, I
Do
could
not
see that.
ask him to sing it.
No. I know the karaoke rule. You never ask him karaoke song. I just wonder what his go-to song was. I'm starting to get into karaoke myself. So, what any other big time? Or you say I gotta
there's
do this.
"Stuck on You" by Lionel Richie. I mean,
Really?
I aced that one. Yeah, that's
I pay $20 to see you sing that one in a karaoke. We're gonna go karaoke, man.
I think you owe him $20 for making him play 3 songs.
I absolutely do. It's gonna-
well, let me
it's-
see here. That's about $6.30 a
That's
song.
right. I got
Okay.
it covered. I
Oh
got
my
it
gosh, he's so
covered, man.
talented. Math and music.
You know, I
So
was, I was off.
wait now. When is the new album available?
Well,
Like, you said it's coming out.
Yeah, it came out
right?
yesterday.
Okay.
It's the CD's on my website. You can stream it or you can listen to it or download it from my Bandcamp page, Weird Paul Bandcamp. And I think next month it should be everywhere pretty much. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on iTunes. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be on Deezer. It'll be on. Can't name them all. There's too many.
There's a
It'll be
lot.
on whatever they use in
All the
Japan now.
platforms, yeah.
It'll be on all of them. So
Do you do with a band also? I know you're bringing this for the computer, obviously, with the podcast. Do you have a band?
I do have a band, Weird Paul
mentioned-
Rock Band.
Okay.
We keep that name pretty simple there.
Yeah.
But it's a different experience
Yeah.
when I do it with the band because I'm not moving around. When I play solo, I'm going to be down in the audience right next to you. The great thing is there's been times when I left the stage and there's people who aren't paying attention. They're looking at their phone, talking to a friend, and I go down and I'm right next to them. But they don't know that because they're only hearing it out of the PA. And finally they turn around and they're shocked because I'm standing right next to them singing. But I like to do that, especially if I get a cordless mic.
Yeah.
You can go outside.
Go anywhere, man.
I go out on the street and I'm always like, is there any cops out here? You know, that's always my first thing I yell.
Yeah.
But I love to just jump all around everywhere. But when you're playing with a band, you're playing the guitar.
Right.
You have to stand in one spot.
Oh, so you play
So,
guitar also? You
yeah.
said, as a kid.
So
Since a kid.
it's a different experience. I'm just standing still. The thing about a band is there's more people, so there's more to watch on the stage.
Right,
You don't have
right.
to carry the show. But if you're one person, you got to carry a show all by yourself.
It's all you.
It
Yeah.
is all on you. So you
It's-
gotta be there, 100% there in the moment.
You nailed it. They're paying for your confidence.
That's
As you said.
right.
It's so true. Paying for you to be confident and you have it
Talent.
together.
That was the
talent,
day it all
yeah.
changed for me. That's when I realized, that's how I'm gonna do it from now on.
Yes, it's a great line 'cause it's true. The audience empathize with you. You know, so if you get nervous, they get nervous. You're
Yeah.
calm, they're calm. And we're the same way as when we're audience members when we look at a performer. So
That's true.
there's a lot of truth
That's
to that. And I agree with you. The fake it till you make it. Because I've been performing for 30 years. I get nervous every show until
Yeah.
I get on stage. I'm comfortable for some reason. And I get calm once I get on stage or once I start. Do you get calm?
I get calm if I can tell the audience is with me.
Okay.
If I could see that some of them aren't sure, that starts to throw me off. It only
Yeah.
takes really one person
It really does.
to really screw me up.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna start forgetting lines. I mean, what I hate is when I go out there, there's a guy sitting at a table like this
Yeah.
the whole set.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
always one,
And I'm
right?
like,
You'd rather than be on their phone.
The painful-
I mean, and I'll
I know.
work extra hard to get this guy to crack a smile.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do
We-
some
we are
really
people
stupid
pleasers.
shit
We
to
are
try to
people
get that guy to smile. Nothing. He's not gonna budge.
Yeah.
How about you, Sarah? You get nervous? You get calm?
Like you said, I a couple minutes before I get on the mic, and then I'm up there, and I try not to look at the audience. I really try to watch the light and wait for the light. But yeah, I don't anymore.
Is it a better show when like the stage lights are so bright you can't see
Yeah.
anybody?
Sometimes
Is that
it is.
better?
I
You know?
can't see.
Sometimes
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, when I can't see the people, I feel. And then there's always like the people in the front row, and it's always like your friends that are like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Nah.
What's this thing now? You may know because it's probably more of a stand-up thing. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
But it's only happened to me at stand-up shows.
Okay.
When I'm doing a song and I'll do like every time I get through a line, they yell "No."
Okay.
I don't know
Do you
that.
know about
no,
that?
I haven't heard
That
that.
sounds like
Okay,
a-
it's happened to me at pretty much every
That might be
arcade comedy theater. I did a
your
stand-up
thing.
show with Gab Benesso at the Rex once.
I
They
think
Okay.
came
it's
to me
your.
there.
I think it's your
It's
crowd.
only
That's a
at
Weird Paul
those
thing.
comedy shows when I
It's
do it.
okay. So they'll say no when
Every time I finish a
Yeah.
line of the song,
No.
no, in unison, they all say it together.
that must be a new thing.
I think it's a Paul thing.
I mean,
That's a Paul
I-
thing.
Yeah.
that first happened to me
Okay.
in 2007, and it
Okay.
happened to me as recently as 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
They're
no.
still doing it. I don't know.
No,
you guys
I-
are driving me nuts with this.
Have
I
you
don't know
ever-
what
have you
it
ever-
is.
Heard boo, fuck you,
Oh,
get
yeah,
off
of course.
stage. I've heard bitch.
But no.
But no.
You know, have you ever blank out in the middle of a set? I've done it.
Oh my
Like in the
God.
light when a spotlight hits you.
Yep.
And you
Oh
just blank
my God,
out.
absolutely! I'll
Yep.
tell you the funniest thing I ever saw. I was in the middle of singing. I got drunk at Chuck E. Cheese, and my brain went blank. And when that happens, I usually don't stop talking.
Okay.
My mouth just keeps going, and I say, I think it was, I got up on the I got up on the stage or something. They were throwing the tokens at me or whatever, and I went, something like that came out of my mouth. I looked down the audience, and there's this guy looking at me, and he goes like this, and he shakes his head like this, like
Yeah.
No.
like there's something stuck in it. Like no, I mean he shook it like.
Yeah.
Am I hearing things? I mean, he shook it like his brain wasn't working.
Right.
And it wasn't my brain that wasn't working. It was his. Because he didn't,
like, "Am I having
words,
a
his brain
stroke?"
didn't understand the words.
Because you
I was
had
like-
so much confidence doing it. but
Right,
it's-
so I was like, I turned that around on him. I projected that on him. I made him think it was his fault.
It's like I'm having a stroke.
That's brilliant. Yeah. I've done it a couple shows. One time I did it in front of like 4,000 people opening
Oh, no.
for Kenny G's jazz guy. Yeah, but 30 seconds, I just stared at the floor. It came to me. I don't know what happened. 30 seconds. I was like panicking. I was
Man,
hyperventilating.
that's 30
right there.
seconds.
Oh, I think
death.
I
That's
got you
an
beat there.
eternity.
And I just somehow it came back to me. Thank God. But you've
I think
done
I
it,
got
right?
you beat there.
What happened?
It was a smaller show, and I just went. I forget, and like people.
You went like this?
I went like this. And started shaking my head, saying nothing, and then I could hear people in the back like, "Come on, girl, you can do it." And I was like, "That is not helping at all. That's the worst thing you could say." And then I remembered, and then I just went right back into
Then
it.
Then you're right. You went back in.
I was so humiliated.
That's
It
a
was-
good audience. They're rooting
It
you
was
on.
my best, but I think it was like my best friend was in the audience. Everybody else was like, "What is wrong with?"
Oh,
this
good.
chick?"
Your friend was like,
My
"Come
friend
on."
was like, "Come on, Sarah, you got this." I was like, "No, I don't."
That's a good friend.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
What's up, Audrey? Thank you.
Do you
Yeah.
do you enjoy performing live, or do you enjoy
I
recording?
love
more?
returning. I
I
love
answer me, yeah.
Receipts.
performing
This guy loves
live.
receipts.
Yeah,
love
'cause it's a
performing live.
return of energy. I think it's what
It's
you meant
exactly
in your
it.
head. You're
I
thinking,
put
giving
something
a
up on
return.
YouTube, and somebody clicked the like again, which is great. I love that.
Yes.
I love seeing the like
Right.
button get clicked.
Yeah.
But you don't have that return right there. You get the energy back.
Rush is amazing, right?
Absolutely.
rush is amazing.
It's an energy that you can feel. That's the difference.
And there's something powerful. You're a musician also. There's something powerful about the music, I think. I mean, every comedian wants to be a musician, so you kind of combine the both, which is kind of good in a way. You have music and comedy. Because it's true. There's something powerful about the combination with music, and I know you could feel that, that vibe, that rap and rock, the two genres you mostly use. Now, do you only use rap and rock, or do you use any other type of
I've
genre?
recorded. I can't count how many genres I've recorded
Oh,
songs in
okay.
now.
So is
everything.
anything.
I got one that
Everything's
sounds
game.
like Jimmy Buffett.
Really?
Yeah, I got you name it. I've got it now because I have so many influences. And when I start writing something, I'll say, you know what that sounds like?
Right. And you
It
go,
sounds like
next
a
song.
Zydeco song.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a Zydeco song. So this has been happening for years now, and I have everything. This sounds like it should be sung by Axl Rose. I'm gonna sing just like
do
him.
Guns N' Roses.
Everything. So I've got amassed this thing, and depending on what show I'm playing,
Right.
There's been
With
shows
different
where
audiences.
what audiences I have.
Right.
Then I say, okay, I'm gonna do a little more rap at this show. I'm gonna make sure I throw in the country songs here.
Right.
So that's
A little Buffett style, a little whatever, rock style, really
and that
rock.
gets the audience on your side a little more too.
Absolutely, man. Taps in. Well, Weird Paul, you were great. Would you do us a favor and come back again on the show? Would you come back on the show?
I'd love to. It's been just like sitting here with a couple friends talking.
We are
so-
friends, man. I'm huge. I've become a huge fan. I'm your new fan. We're going to work together, my friend. I hope you please come back real soon, okay?
Thank you so much.
Sereny, you're the greatest for turning me on to this guy, man. What a
Thanks for
talent.
coming, Paul.
Thanks, Weird
Thank
Paul.
you.
Appreciate it. Jim Krenn, No Restrictions.